everyone, this is Amanda at Amanda's Booktopia. If you're new here, welcome, and if not, welcome back. And today I'm going to talk about the rest of the books that I read in September. I know I did a mid-month one where I just read 3. I did read some more since. We're going to talk about those books. Some of them, I listened to everything on audio. So I haven't been in a physical reading mood lately. I've been really into Happy Color on my phone. So I've just been coloring and listening to everything. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I've read in the month of September after the first 3 books. So first we're going to talk about The September House by Carissa Orlando. This was the Thrills and Chills book for the month of September. It's fitting, seeing as the book title has September in the title. And we did a whole live show on this on Dana's channel. I will link the live show down below if you want to check out and hear everybody's thoughts. Everyone was like very much on the low end of things. Not everybody really liked this book. I think the highest rating was Tara with 4 stars. Me trailing behind with 3 stars. I mean, it was very interesting, this book. I don't understand the mother very much in the most of the book. Because of what is going on in the house, I would have ran out of there like immediately. Like, who wants to live in a house riddled with spirits, especially if they're not exactly good ones? So it was a crazy ride, The September House. I'm not going to tell you all my thoughts here because I did share them in the live show, but that will be linked so you can go check that out if you'd like to. Overall, it was just an okay read for me. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. The ending was very, very dark and disturbing. So if you don't like disturbing, gory, paranormal type stuff, then I would not recommend it. But if you do like that stuff, then definitely try it. I mean, the ending was not what I expected at all. I thought it was going to be something entirely different. But it was an okay time. I didn't hate it. Just wasn't great. So kind of middle of the road for me. And that's all I'm going to share on that book. And then the next one we have is Until I Get You by Claire Contreras. This was the Truly Readers Romance Book Club pick for September. And I loved it so much. I gave it 5 stars. I mean, there was bits and pieces of like sports stuff thrown in there that I didn't think was absolutely necessary. I can talk, I promise. But overall, I love the book. I love the relationship. Lachlan is my new boyfriend. I will also link in the description my top 5 book boyfriends of all time, because Lachlan has become in the top 5. He is incredible. I loved him. I couldn't say anything less about it. I mean, he was just amazing, and I loved the way he took care of Lila and how he was always there for her 1,000%. And it just made me think of my relationship with my fiance Ray. I feel like they both are very, very similar. And that's why I love this book so much. There were some dark times in there, I have to admit. I teared up at a couple of things. And overall, it's a really great story. I highly recommend. And I definitely think more people should be reading Claire Contreras. There's another book in this series that I absolutely have to read. I will definitely begin it on audio, hopefully soon. I need to read more from this author and this world, because I absolutely loved it. I cannot wait to read more. And then the next one that I listened to was If You Would Have Told Me by John Stamos. It's a memoir that he wrote about himself. For those who don't know who he is, honestly, I would be surprised if you didn't. But he is Uncle Jesse from Full House. And I love him. He's probably one of my favorite actors. I have a lot of favorite actors, to be honest, but he is definitely up there. And I also saw him in an episode of Law & Order SVU. He's been in quite a few things. But he's most recognizable for Uncle Jesse and Full House. And I wanted to listen to his story and see what it was like. And I actually really enjoyed it. I did see on GoodReads some people did not like it. And some people called him self-centered. But honestly, this book is about him. So of course, he's going to be talking about himself. I mean, a lot of people mention how he's narcissistic. I can't talk today. Narcissistic and self-centered. And I did not understand why. Mostly because this book, he wrote about himself. So of course it's going to be about him. So, yeah. But I still had a good time. I had a pretty good time with it, to be honest. I really enjoyed that he narrated his own book. I think that gave it a really good edge to it. And I ended up giving it 4 stars because I had a good time. I didn't love it. So overall, John Stamos was a fun read. His book, and I ended up with 4 stars. It was fun. And then after that, I read my own book club book for Fiction Falls, which was a Wren in the Holly Library. Clint and I did a whole live show, and we had a special guest host, Jess from Honest Fiction. She joined us, and we had a really fun time discussing this book. Overall, I enjoyed it, gave it 4 stars, and the next book in the series I found out is coming out next year in June, and it's close to my birthday, so I'm very excited to get the next book and see where the story takes us. But if you want to hear more thoughts, I would definitely link down our live show discussion in the description, so make sure to check that out if you want to hear everybody's thoughts. And then after that, I read This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. The first one, Before I Let Go, was absolutely amazing. I could not get enough. It was top tier. And then I read This Could Be Us, and it was an interesting story, but it didn't hit me like the first one did, if that makes any sense. And it has some mixed messages in there. I didn't quite understand, so I thought she was going to try and overall try be on her own, the whole dating herself thing and the whole I'm a strong woman, I don't need a man to depend on. And yet she runs after, what's his name? I'm sorry, well, the names are forgettable to me. I can't remember her name or his name. I mean, honestly, it didn't feel like a romance to me. It just felt like woman's fiction with very conflicting messages. If you're gonna stand on your own 2 feet and be your own person, I'm all for it. But if you're gonna go and then run to a man and be like, oh, I need you, I can't do this without you, kind of thing, then what's the point of being on your own 2 feet? I was very confused by that. And the beginning had me hooked. But as I was saying for This Could Be Us, it was just okay. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It just had conflicting messages. And unfortunately, I landed on 3 stars on this one. I do really want to read the next book in the series. Hendrix is my favorite, and I cannot wait for that to come out. I think it's coming out around next year. I think it was May. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. And I'm really looking forward to reading the 3rd book in the series. I think it's going to be a lot more fun. Not that I did enjoy the 2nd book, it's just I had some issues with it his overall. However, Kennedy Ryan does write a very interesting story. Because Before I Let Go was top tier. So I will still read Kennedy Ryan no matter what, even though this second one just didn't quite hit for me. And then the last book that I read in September was A House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. Unfortunately, please don't hate me on this, but I had to DNF at around the halfway point. Unfortunately, I don't think cozy fantasy is for me. And this is probably going to be like a whole discussion on why cozy fantasy is just not my genre. I mean, I might try one more just to see and make sure. But I just feel like cozy fantasy is not my vibe. I need more action and a lot more stuff happening. And I just felt like House of the Trillion Sea was really, really slow. I mean, the beginning had me interested, and then it just kind of dropped off for me. I was not paying attention anymore. I was not able to concentrate. It just wasn't my vibe, unfortunately. So please don't hate me on this. It's just, I know lots of people love this book, and my bestie Clint, he absolutely loves this series. And he just gave the second book 6 stars. And I'm sorry, Clint. I'm happy that you love it so much. Unfortunately for me, it's just not for me. However, I am trying Wolf Song by TJ Klune. I want it so desperately to be a really good story. And not that I don't like it, but I mean, I'm already listening to it with Ray, my fiance, and Ray's obsessed with it. Unfortunately for me, I'm not vibing with it nearly as much as he is. I'm going to try and give it a little bit longer and see if things pick up. I'm just having a hard time with the slow burn, cozy fantasy type vibe. I don't mind a good slow burn sometimes if there's a lot of action. But if it's slow and for most of the book, I'm going to have a hard time. But I really am trying, I promise. It's just, House of the Trillion Sea, I had to DNF. I just couldn't get into it. I mean, I love it. So many people love it. It's just not my vibe, not my genre. Which is very sad, because I love fantasy. Don't get me wrong, I love a good fantasy romance. That is my favorite genre. But when it comes to the cozies, I just don't know if that's something that works for me. And I'm very, very sad about that. I mean, there's a lot of genres that I like, but unfortunately, I just don't know if TJ Klune is my kind of author. I mean, don't get me wrong, I read Under the Whispering Door. Absolutely loved that book. That one was a really good one. I really enjoyed the messages in Under the Whispering Door. Because I feel like there was a little bit more action in that one. But overall, his other books that I've been trying to read have just not been hitting for me. I'm thinking it's the genre. But that is all the books that I have read in the month of September. Have you read any of these? What did you think of them? If you came to any of the live shows, I'm glad that you did. It was a fun time. That was everything that I read in the month of September. And I'm glad September's over. Hopefully, I do well in October. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. Because I have been a little slumpy. And it's not been good. So let's hope for October things get better. So if you like this rest of September's wrap up, give me a huge thumbs up. If you want to see more bookish content from me, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below. And I'll see you on the next one.